ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So, we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the manual of life. So, before we proceed ahead, I would like to ask what we discussed yesterday. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we discussed about Sri Krishna Janmashtami and ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, because Janmashtami was the appearance of Sri Lord Krishna, and next day, that means yesterday, his one of his most confidential devotee, pure devotee, who spread his teachings of teachings of Bhagavad Gita all over the world, founded ISKCON society. He appeared. His birthday was celebrated. So we discussed about Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. So now we resume our discussion on the session. This Vedic wisdom provides us ultimate solution or uh, complete solution. So the most important, these are two most important questions which a human being should inquire and try to find out the solution. First is, why am I suffering? And second is, what is the goal of life? So we already discussed why am I suffering, cause of our suffering, and how Vedic wisdom can provide a solution. And we also briefly discussed what is the goal of life. So this inquiry should be made by any human being, because animals cannot inquire these two questions. Any animal, those who are not human beings, birds, beasts, animals, they also inquire, they also have intelligence, they also have rational power, thinking power, they also have emotions, they also have family life. Everything is there in animal form of life also, but their intelligence, reasoning power, emotions, feelings, experiences, thinking process can only be made for basic requirements of the body. They can only inquire, they can only become inquisitive, they can only desire to get material benefits like eating, sleeping, mating, defending. These four benefits only they can inquire about. But a human being, while these animals, they cannot think beyond these four material necessities. If you take example of any animal, a bird, a beast, as soon as they get up in the morning, they search for where is my food, where is my food. And when they get their food, they search for where is my mate, and then they search for where is my sleeping. They also make their homes, nest, and caves and holes, different kinds of living entities. They have different variety of living conditions. So they also arrange their eating facility, sleeping facility, and mating facility, sex life. And they also have the facility for defending themselves. So in this way, these four things, which takes care of material body, necessities of material body only, they also can do this. In fact, much better than human beings. All the human beings are very highly technologically advanced, but still, if you analyze, if somebody uses his intelligence and observes the activity of a human being and an animal, so any human being can find or come to this conclusion that animals are far better situated in fulfilling the demands of material body. they have better uh, eating facility, sleeping facility, or not. And if they have no better facility, but at least they are able to enjoy better than human being as far as these four things are concerned: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But human being, in spite of having so much technological advancement, so much facilities, everything, still a human being is unable to fulfill these demands: eating, sleeping, mating, defending, so nicely than these animals are able to do. Just like, for example, you take example for sleeping. A human being, although he is sleeping on very nice soft cushion bed in a very furnished apartment, but still he is unable to get proper sleep. He has to take sleeping pills. While a dog, even though he may be sleeping on the street, so many vehicles go and come and go, but still he is peacefully sleeping. He's able to get nice sleep. He doesn't have to take sleeping pills. As far as eating is concerned, a human being, he has all the facility to eat five-star hotels and everything, all different kinds of food stuffs. But still, as soon as he tries to enjoy this eating facility, he gets diabetes, low BP, high BP, heart attack, so many different kinds of problems keep coming. While animal, although they don't have so much eating facility, but still they are by the arrangement of God, they are getting nice facilities to eat. And in this way, they are enjoying better than human beings. They don't get any disease because of eating more or less. So, if we analyze, we can come to this conclusion that animals are far better situated than human beings in terms of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So, what is great? What is great about human being? So, this is the greatness. That animal cannot ask these two basic questions, most important question. Everyone is suffering in this world. Animal is also suffering. A human being is also suffering. But a human being can inquire, why am I suffering? What is the cause of my suffering? And he can try to find out the solution. Who am I? He can ask this question, but animal cannot ask this question. Also, although animal also have intelligence, but they cannot inquire about all these things. And secondly, human being can ask this question, what is the goal of life? But animal cannot ask this question. So, in conclusion, we can say if any human being who is not inquiring about these two questions, why am I suffering and what is the goal of my life, who does not care for these two questions, who is not ready, willing to find out the solutions for these two questions, that means he is no better than an animal. He is living, although he is in the form of human body, he is in the human body, but still he is no better than animal. And such kind of human-like animals are referred as Dvipad Pashu. In Mahabharata, this is stated. We have already discussed in our first session. Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanyame pasubhi naranam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesha dharmena hina pasubhi samana. These four things are common in man and animal. So any human being who cannot go beyond these four basic necessities of life is no better than animal. He is referred to as Dvipad Pashu, two-legged animal. So in this way, this is the duty of any human being to ask these two questions: why I am suffering and what is the goal of my life. So we discussed this already. I'll just briefly go ahead. The goal of life is explained in Bhagavad Gita that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Just being a spirit soul, we are imprisoned within this body, and at death, when death comes, we transfer from one body to another body. And this transmigration is like changing the vehicle, changing dress. And how does this transmigration or transfer from one body to another body takes place? That is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. So what is the basis? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejyante kalevaram tam tame veti konteya sada tada bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, from one body to another body, a living entity is transferred. A human being can understand these things if he uses his intelligence. So this is the mechanism of on the basis of these two things, one accepts another body. First, it desires in the mind, and second is good and bad karma. So this we discussed last time. So on these two bases, one is given another body. That as it is said, as you sow, so shall you reap. Every action has equal and corresponding reaction. This is the karma theory. Third law of motion, Newton's motion, it states this: every action has equal and opposite reaction, but it applies to us also. And this is known as karma, law of karma. So there may be two kinds of karma: instant karma and delayed karma. Instant karma means as soon as you do some action, you immediately get a result. And delayed karma means you do perform some action after over the period of some time, or it may take even few births, you get the result. So we discuss about this. So law of karma is this. So in human form of life, we have got developed intelligence better than animals to discriminate and lead responsible lives. That is the greatness or prerogative of being a human. Few years back, there was a famous statement, being human. But although they were writing, they were trying to being human, but actually they were being animals. Being human means one should use his higher intelligence to discriminate and lead responsible lives so that he may get higher destination, not degrade himself. That is the purpose of human being. But if one engages in sinful activities, if one leads his life like an animal only just for the sake of enjoying sense gratification, and in this way, for the purpose of giving temporary enjoyment to mind and senses, if somebody is committing all kinds of nonsense, sinful activity, so that is a very, very risky condition. That is not the purpose of human life. If somebody performs these kinds of sinful activity, then he has to degrade himself and accepts lower species of life. So all different kinds of sinful activities are categorized in four pillars. Mainly four categories are there. So these are four pillars of sinful life which any human being must avoid, or rather we can say anyone who follows these four regulatory principles. Any human being who refrain from committing these four sinful activities, he is known as a human being. Those who are committing these four kinds of grievous sinful activity, they are just like animal. They are no better than animal. So one should avoid, because committing this four sinful activity, one will be degraded and one will lose the opportunity to become human being again. And he will be transferred to animal species of life, which is very, very dangerous and risky. Because once a living entity who becomes an animal, suppose cat or dog or hog or plant or tree, anything. So then he has no other option just to go on suffering and suffering until unless he again through the evolution of cycle, he again comes to the uh, human platform. He again gets the body of a human being. So there is no option for this. That's why these four pillars of sinful life must be avoided by any human being. Otherwise, he's sure to get uh, degraded and become animal. Because animal in animal life, we already discussed, he cannot inquire. He doesn't have advanced intelligence by which he can inquire about these basic problems of life. So that's why these four pillars of sinful life are very important to avoid. The first one is everyone's favorite, chicken soup, meat eating. Yes, you might be thinking, Roji, you are saying everyone's favorite, but I have never eaten meat in my life. So that's good. But there are instructions. in Vedic literatures, it is said that anyone who has this material body, we all have material body, has got a natural tendency or inclination to perform these three kinds of sinful activity. First is Amish Mad Vavaya. Nityasya Jantu. Nityasya Jantu. Jantu means in some of the Vedic literature scriptures, living entities have been described as Jantu. Jantu means animal. Even human being also. Human being is also a Jantu, an animal only. Why? Because Jantu, animal, he doesn't have any freedom. Animal has no freedom. And similarly, any human being who cannot control his mind and senses and leads his life just following the natural inclination, natural tendency of conditioned state. So, being unable to control his mind and senses, he is just like an animal. Just like there are many so-called uh, foolish, intelligent people. They say that why to restrict our senses? It is natural, and even sometimes there are some doctors also. They encourage to perform sinful activity. They say this is natural. You should not um, artificially try to control your senses. But Vedic scriptures explains us that any living entity who has this material body, he has got this natural tendency to perform sinful activity. That's why he must, through some regulations, through some instructions, through some culture. That's why Vedic culture is so important. Vedic culture gives us opportunity so that those natural tendencies can be curbed. So these natural tendencies, first is Amish. Amish means meat eating. Madh means intoxication, which makes a person mother. Mother means pagal, mad. One who takes intoxication, he becomes mad. There's a madhya seva. And Vavichar, illicit sex. So the sex life, meat eating, and intoxication. These three things are natural inclinations or natural tendencies in every living entity, including human beings. Animals also have these tendencies, and human beings also have these tendencies. For performing these three kinds of sinful activity, nobody is required to go to school and college. The Vedic system, Gurukul is made to train a person how to become a brahmachari, how to become a sense control, self control, how to avoid this sinful activity. For that purpose, the training is required. But there is no requirement for training to encourage a person for eating meat, for intoxication, for illicit sex. No training is required. Nowadays, modern education system, they are trying to teach about this illicit this sex education they are trying to provide, but that is not required. The real education means one should be educated, one should be trained how to avoid these sinful tendencies. That is real education, not to increase. Already there is desire within the heart of every conditioned soul. So that's why these tendencies have to be curbed. So first one is meat eating, because as soon as you eat meat, what you eat, you don't just eat meat, but you eat his consciousness. The animal, when an animal is being killed at that time, then the animal is in very fearful condition situation. So when you eat that animal, so you also get the fearfulness, you also get the anxiety, you also become frustrated. So it should be avoided. It's a great sinful act. This is first one. Second one is intoxication. Any kind of intoxication, liquor, smoking, drinking, and even this pan masala, gutka, Raj Darbar, Rajshri, so many varieties. And one famous thing has come, Vimala. Vimala, the meaning of Vimal is Vigata mala iti vimala. Mala means dirty thing. A vimal means which is not dirty, which is pure. Vimal means pure. But in the name of Vimala, they are giving only Mala, nothing else. That is the reality. So all these things actually they are categorized as intoxication. So one should avoid these intoxicating element. Somebody may say, what is the harm in intoxication, taking intoxication? I'm not harming anybody. I'm myself only taking. But actually, you don't have adhikar, you don't have right to destroy your own body because you have not given birth to your body. Neither your parents have given birth to your body. So nobody. Otherwise, you may say, "Oh, if my parents give me for drinking, then I can accept." No, there are in some religion when as soon as a child is he crosses 18 years age, the mother and father they give him a liquor bottle. So parents also they don't have this right to give intoxication to their children, and we also don't have right to give intoxication to our body because this body belongs to Supreme Lord. So it has to be utilized according to His direction, His instruction. We cannot produce and we cannot destroy. Birth and death is is in the hand of the Supreme Lord only. Nobody else can give birth to a child, and nobody can give death. Nobody can kill anybody. So these things are in the hand of Supreme Lord. That's why we need to follow His instruction. And another point, when one takes intoxication, he becomes um, he comes under the category of illusion. Now, already there is so much illusion. Already we are in bodily conception of life. Dehatma buddhi. Dehatma buddhi means this is explained in Bhagavad Gita as moha. Moha means illusion. The greatest illusion is that we consider ourselves to be body. And this is known as one of the intoxication. Dehatma buddhi, deha plus atma plus buddhi. Dehatma buddhi means the conception or the mentality or the intelligence by which one thinks of himself to be made of this material body, material elements. One who thinks himself to be this body, he is known as having dehatma buddhi or bodily consciousness, bodily conception of life. So this bodily consciousness is itself an illusory conception, and a person is already intoxicated with this bodily consciousness. So why to increase the intoxication? That's why in one of the lectures, Srila Prabhupada, he spoke to his disciples in America, hippies. He was speaking to hippies, and he told them that you are already intoxicated with bodily conception of life, thinking that I'm this body. So why you want to increase the intoxication by taking LSD, marijuana, and all kinds of drugs? So one should not take this. Suppose if somebody is already sick, he is already having fever. So what he should do? He should take something which will increase fever, or he should take some medicine to decrease fever. Yes, what do you think? But because of envy, because of dvesh, irsha, we do like this. There is one story. So there was a lady, and she had a maid servant. So once a maid servant, she got fever. So when doctor came, and the lady, the malkin, she also got the fever. So when the doctor checked fever, so the maid servant had 104-degree fever, and this lady malkin, she had only 100-degree fever. So she said, how can my maid servant have higher fever than me? So she was requesting doctor, then you tell me, I want to increase my fever. I must always be ahead in all respect. I must always be ahead of my maid servant. So she wanted to increase the fever. So that is the disease of this material world. So everyone is already intoxicated, already in fever. What is the fever? Fever of material enjoyment. So, but they see my fellow person, my friend, he is having more fever than me, so I must have more fever than him. Suppose a boy, he thinks my friend has got two girlfriends, so I must have three girlfriends. That means he wants to increase the fever. Having a girlfriend or anything material, anything sinful activity is a disease condition of life. It's a fever. So, but in modern society, modern time, this modern education system, competitive, they have created this competitive spirit. The competitive spirit is good, but it should be for healthy life. It should it should encourage to have a healthy life, not to make the life in disease condition. But now this, because of lack of true knowledge, because of ignorance, because we are in illusion, so we there is competition for increasing our fever. There is competition for to increase our disease, material disease, intoxication. So this intoxication, it should be avoided in all respect. And third one is, which is a great stumbling block, that is gambling. So gambling is also a sinful activity because of which we lie, we are put into anxiety, we are put into fearful situation, and we try to cheat others. That's why gambling is also a great sinful activity. And last one, which is the most important and most difficult, especially for youths, and which is the most grievous sinful activity, is illicit sex. So because when this sinful activity is there, illicit sex means connection with opposite sex, it destroys the intelligence completely. A person, especially a youth, he cannot focus at all on his career. And it is very practical. We have seen many times. Those who are very intelligent boys and girls, those who are very good in performing in their academics, in their career, when they come across these situations, they have this illicit connection, they make girlfriend, boyfriend, then they are completely ruined, destroyed, practically destroyed. I think I have already given one example in my college days. So there was one student. He was a very intelligent boy. He got 2,500 rank all over India. It's a very difficult thing. 2,500 rank. AI or all India rank in J mains, J advanced, you can say. And he got such a nice college. But over the period of time, after 2 years, when uh, he got connected with a girlfriend, so in the final year, it was very difficult. What to speak of getting some campus placement? It was very difficult for him even to clear the exams. He got failed in exams, and finally he ruined his career. So that is a great risk. It's very difficult. Somebody may say, no, no, if I have full control over my mind and senses, I can do whatever I want. But you may think like this, but actually it doesn't happen. It's as soon as one enters into this relationship, his heart is completely bounded and he cannot think of anything else. He's completely in different world. I'm not just it's just not just joking. I have seen this in college days, and in Mumbai there are many cases. Many youth they come and they are completely destroyed. So we should completely avoid all these things. It's not at all desirable. Not just girlfriend boyfriend business, but especially youths. They should also be careful to avoid all kinds of adult contents, pornography, and these kinds of movies which increases desires for illicit connection. So this is a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual advancement as well as material advancement also. Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, verse 34. राग द्वेष व्यवस्थितो इंद्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थो राग द्वेषे व्यवस्थितो तयोर्न वशमागच्छेत् अस्य हि परिपन्थिनः तयोर्न वशमागच्छेत् is sinful tendencies are natural propensities for the senses, and one should try to curb them by following some spiritual path. Like the best spiritual path, the best means to curb these kind of sinful tendencies to chant Hare Krishna Maha. So if you regularly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and hear discourses of Bhagavad Gita, try to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita, then it's easy. You will be able to curb all these tendencies. You will become free, completely peaceful, Santa. Santa, with Santa Man, a peaceful mind, you will be able to focus nicely on your studies, on your duties, and on your spiritual life as well. Otherwise, if you get deviated, then everything will be finished. Material life as well as spiritual life, everything gets finished. So Krishna explains, Tayor Navasam Agachet Asyahi Paripanthinam. This is a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual advancement. So these four things, four sinful activities, if one performs, when one ignores God's laws and engages in sinful activities like these four sinful activities, then one glides down to animal bodies, repeated birth and death. That is sure. That is why it must be avoided by all means. And because of the influence of this dark age Kali Yuga, it has become very difficult, especially for you to follow such principles. But if you are determined, if you just take shelter of Krishna, if you be connected, if you become a devotee, if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, associate with devotees and read Bhagavad Gita, try to understand its philosophy, then you can very easily curb all these tendencies. It's not very difficult also. And many have done this. We all are coming from the same family background, same society. We have not landed here from heavenly planets. Even if heavenly planets, in heavenly planets also, the same thing is going on, uncontrolled senses. But uh, those, we have seen this, those who have taken to this path of Krishna consciousness, those who become serious students of Bhagavad Gita, so they are able to control all these tendencies and they are able to nicely practice their Krishna consciousness as well as their material life, material education also. We have devotees who excelled in both material as well as spiritual life. So you can do both very nicely if you follow the principles prescribed in the Bhagavad Gita. But if you just ignore it because of this influence of sense gratification, because of being unable to temporarily control your desire for sense enjoyment, then its life is very risky. So one may have to glide down and accept animal bodies, which is not at all desirable. Just like there are few examples. If somebody he cannot avoid meat eating, then according to the laws of nature, his mentality will like and this lion. So he may have to accept body of a lion, but he will become a lion if he has a good karma. But if he doesn't have good karma, then he will become uh, what he will become? He'll become some inferior animal who will be killed by a lion. So you may have to take birth like animal. So this is another example. If somebody is in too much ignorance, sleeps a lot, lazy, ignorant, then he may have to become deer. Oh my dear, you may have to become deer if you don't regulate your life. One who sleeps a lot, ignorant. Yes. One who sleeps more than 8 hours, actually. One should not sleep more than 8 hours. So 8 hours are enough, sufficient. And Ayurveda explains it for a healthy body, 6 hours are sufficient. And next is all these Bollywood actors, actresses, models, their destination is also described in the Vedic literatures. You can see one who exposes their body. So material nature will say, so I'll give you, material nature will give such body that you will not require to wear any kind of cloth. You become trees very nicely. Always stand fully naked throughout your life. No need to cover your body. So that is the law of nature. So in conclusion, if you obey God's laws, following the principles of austerity, sacrifice, yajna, knowledge, an association of saintly devotees, then we promote ourselves. Then we can attain the supreme destination, which is free from these four real problems of life: birth, old age, disease, and death. But if we don't follow such regulations, then we are again degraded to animal form of life. So if we obey God's laws, then we are promoted. So how we can obey God's laws? There is very nice formula: A, B, C, D, E. If you simply do in your life every day these five things, A, B, C, D, E formula, then your life will be very nicely situated. A for association with devotees, association with saintly person. So every day you can have association. The greatest saintly personality is Lord Krishna himself. Who can be more purer than the Supreme Lord Krishna? So if you every day if you associate with Krishna by and how we can associate with Krishna by listening to his Bhagavad Gita. So if you attend these classes every day, so in this way you are associating with Supreme Lord Krishna as well as uh, Krishna's devotee Srila Prabhupada is very nicely explaining in the Bhagavad Gita. So you are associating with saintly personalities in this way, this association. Then B is Bhagavad Gita books already, same thing. And C, chanting. So when if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you are in direct connection with the Supreme Lord. And D, diet means sattvic diet offered to the Supreme Lord Krishna, which becomes Mahaprasad. That is D. And finally, E. E means seva, engagement. So if you have some services to perform for Krishna, I think this can be any kind of services. Every day, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, like many of the students who are attending here, they are following you. They are trying to connect you. They remind you for attending this class. This is a seva engagement. In this way, our mind becomes completely purified, and we can advance uh, towards the superior destination. And gradually, we can attain to the Supreme Lord. This is in Bhagavad Gita. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, lust, anger, and greed, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization, thus gradually attains the supreme destination. In the Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, verse number 22, Lord Krishna explains it. These three things: lust, anger, greed, kama, krodha, lobh. These are three highways to hell. And one who can escape these three propensities, gates of hell, he can promote himself to higher and supreme destination. And Krishna finally says, Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam sashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gataha. Mam upetya dukhalayam ashashvatam. This world is dukhalayam ashashvatam, full of miseries. So one who can follow the principles of spiritual life given in the Bhagavad Gita, they become Mahatma. Mahatma, the great souls. Right now, we are Duratma because we are Dur. We are away from Krishna. That's why we are Duratma, bad souls, not good souls. But if we come closer to Krishna by following the principles given in the Bhagavad Gita, then we can also become Mahatma. And in this way, these Mahatmas, they attain some siddhim, samyak rupena siddhi, purna, highest perfection in this way they attain. And they attain the paramam gataha, mam upetya. Mam upetya means Krishna says they attain me. They come to my abode. So how many of you think that if you can attain to the abode of Supreme Lord Krishna, that will be a very nice thing for you? Yes, please raise your hand. And how many of you, okay, first raise for this question. How many of you are willing that, yes, that will be very nice if we can go and associate with Krishna, live with Krishna, and become his friend, his father, mother, his servant, his friend, or even you can become his gopi, girlfriend. If you want to become girlfriend, so why you should become girlfriend or boyfriend of this third class, first class people in this world? One should aspire to become girlfriend or boyfriend also. Sakhas are there. A girlfriend of Krishna. The Krishna can satisfy all your desires. Krishna is so powerful. Krishna is giving open opportunity. So how many of you think that this will be a nice proposition? That's all. Only 10 devotees. And rest of the devotees, the students, they what they want. They want to remain in this material world and suffer. Okay. Okay, please lower down your hands. Next question. Next question is, how many of you think that uh, if I just remain in this material world performing all kinds of sinful activity, and even if I become an animal, what is the problem? At least I will be able to enjoy some temporary sense gratification by all this sinful activity, intoxication, meat eating, illicit sex, gambling. So that is a good way of leading life. Yes. How many of you think? Please raise your hand. I'm not raising. I'm just showing. Oh, Jitesh, bro, you want to lead such a life full of sinful activity?
Obviously, I heard you want to leave. Wait,
No, no, lead, not
wait.
leave.
No,
Okay,
no.
okay. You want to leave. Okay, that's
Yeah,
good. Very
I
nice.
mean, I was never into it, but then any little bit of it around also my place, or when I go out, I don't want that around me.
Yeah, very nice. Good boy.
Very
So
good.
everyone should desire to attain this a pure spiritual life in the association of Supreme Lord Krishna. So this is the summary of this entire session which we did from last 3 4 days. So we have in this material world where we are living, we have four real problems of life known as birth, old age, disease, and death. And along with other than these, there are threefold miseries: adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidaivic clash. So there are attempts made by scientific advancement to eradicate all these kinds of suffering, but all these scientific advancement are just temporary patch-up solutions because the scientific advancement and scientific solutions they only take care for the body, not for the soul. That's why just like a fish taken out of water cannot become completely happy or satisfied with the temporary solutions. Similarly, the soul cannot be happy with just the scientific temporary solution. So that's why those who are wise, they try to do welfare activity for the soul, not just for the body. And this welfare, highest welfare for the soul, can be done by following the principles given in the Vedic literatures. The Vedic wisdom give us permanent solution and give us the path, they show us the path by which we can attain to the supreme destination. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So if there are any questions, you can ask. Yes, Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions?
Uh, I This is not the best thing to ask. I'm sorry, but then there was somebody in ISKCON used to literally spit on bad people, right? Like, I mean, people who did dirty things.
I don't know.
Somebody way back in time. I mean,
Yeah, there was a great acharya known as Yamunacharya. So he expressed
okay,
his feeling. So before becoming a great saintly acharya, he was the king of a kingdom. So he was leading very opulent life, full of sense
uh,
gratification. So when he got the mercy of his spiritual master, became a pure devotee. So as soon as he was remembering his previous sense gratification life of king, so he used to become very disgusted, and he used to spit on that thought. That is because he was
okay,
tasting such a great nectar from Krishna's lotus feet.
uh,
Yada avadhi mama chitta Krishna padara vindayo. Very nice
oh,
verse. I
sounds
will,
so beautiful.
yeah, I'll read it for you.
Thanks a lot,
So
Prabhuji. So,
it is
have you
very
sent it?
nice verse.
Or,
No, no, I'm sharing the screen. Just wait.
right.
So,
Wow.
यदवधि मम चेत कृष्ण पदारविन्दे नव नव रस धाम्युद्यतं रन्तुमासे तदवधिवत् नारि संगम स्मर्यमाणे भवति मुख्य विकार सुष्ठु निष्ठा वनं च. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. So that was his feeling after becoming completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
Okay, Hare
And
Krishna.
Prabhuji, when he spat, how did people react to it? Or what did people say or do? Because some people would even find that associated with sense pleasure. That is how people think today.
Yeah, because they have not tasted the nectar of Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna.
True.
That's why they think
Uh,
this material sense gratification is nectar. But those who have tasted even once pure nectar of the spiritual life, for them
true.
everything becomes disgusting.
Uh,
Okay,
It is,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
one line I would say is,
Time is over, so
sorry,
we can take
that was last
question
one.
later. So one more chat box, one question is there, so I'll just quickly answer that. What is greater chanting with cooking for Krishna and taking darshan of Sri Krishna in temple or only chanting at home? So it depends, everything is required. One should cook for Krishna, feed him. One should come to temple and have darshan of the Supreme Lord. That's why Krishna is there in the temple, he wants. And one should chant at home also. So all these things should be performed. Everything is required for our advancement to develop love for Krishna. That's why we celebrate yesterday and day before yesterday, we celebrated such nice big festival. So it becomes an impetus for us to develop love for Krishna, love for devotees. Srila Prabhupada. It's required because in the beginning stage, we don't have so much love. That's why all these things are also necessary. One should come to temple and take darshan of the Supreme Lord. He is so nicely decorated, so nice Mangalarti, Guru Puja, Kirtan goes on, and so many devotees they dance in the Kirtan and chant together and have classes. So this will create a good impression, positive spiritual impressions within our heart, and then we can develop love for Krishna and we can chant. Okay. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much.